Tucker Carlson hasn't actually been fired.
I think we're getting one step closer to state-run media.
And they are cast out of their groups, whatever those groups are, but they do it anyway. I am paid to do that. I face no penalty.
Tucker Carlson brings in nearly 3 million views a night for Fox News and was fired with no reasons given. Now the whole world gets to speculate as to why that is. And I want to talk about the implications for Christians. Be sure to stay tuned. Welcome to Truth Transforms. My name's Adam Markley. We're going to talk about this today, and we're going to talk about what we're looking at, which may be bringing us one step closer to a state-run media. We know about the corporate media with CNN and MSNBC. If you take them seriously, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're thinking. And Fox News, which most people aren't taking very seriously anymore as well. But Tucker Carlson was kind of one last voice on the network, one last voice in corporate media that was willing to tell the truth. And now he's been fired. We're going to get to why maybe he was fired. There's lots of reasons given. There's lots of theories given. A lot of speculation out there. But let's go ahead and start with Megyn Kelly, who actually says he wasn't fired. Before we do that, I want to let you know, I'm going to react to a little bit of a clip here from Megyn Kelly. I'm going to play some things from his last broadcast, a couple other clips for you, and then I'm going to bring in some Bible at the end. And Erin Coates, the wife of James Coates, who was imprisoned in Canada, if you remember that. Tucker Carlson being one of those people, one of those journalists who was actually willing to cover those kind of stories. She weighs in on the matter, so you want to make sure you stick around. Let's go ahead and play Megyn Kelly here. She gives some thoughts, and she's saying no, he actually was not fired. Everyone's got it wrong. So let's go ahead and hear what she's got to say.
Tucker Carlson hasn't actually been fired. He's still an employee of the Fox News channel. What happened was Suzanne Scott called him, she's the CEO, on Monday morning and said he was not going to be allowed to do any more shows and that he had been kicked out of his company email. And now they're going to have to negotiate an exit.
That sure sounds like a firing to me. I think she's got a technicality here. He's got a contract that hasn't run out, I think is what she goes on to say. But that he was forced out. We can be very technical and say, well, then he was forced out.
Some reporting to me suggests that she said it's going to be an amicable parting. Right, isn't it? Completely catching Tucker off guard. But Tucker's not fired. That's my information. That he still needs to negotiate the exit and that right now he's not free to launch a podcast or a digital show or negotiate with other employers at all because he's still under contract. They pulled his show off the air. They also fired his executive producer, Justin Wells. And though he tried to find out why, they wouldn't tell him. They refused to tell him why. I mean, to me, that's just so disheartening. He's been at the company for years. He'd been in the prime time for 7 years and saw Fox News through one of the most difficult times in its history, the immediate era post Roger Ailes, where they didn't know left from right. They didn't know up from down. They really didn't have strong management leading the company. And they had lost two of their biggest stars, Bill O'Reilly and me, at least at that time. So Tucker takes over. It's a huge order, that he was given, and he did it. He smashed the ball out of the park.
Yeah, he sure did. You can watch, she doesn't have much more. You can watch the rest of it if you really want to see what she has to say there. But, Bill O'Reilly had incredible ratings. Tucker Carlson came in and he replaced those ratings, and he's a superstar. And so there's lots of things going on here. There's lots of speculation as to, why he may have been fired. I mean, or forced out, or whatever exactly happened there. We just know he's not there anymore. We just know he's parting ways. That's how Fox News worded it, that he's parting ways. So you've got, a lot of people are saying, well, this is related to the whole Dominion lawsuit, where it's like an $800 million lawsuit that's being settled, where Fox News, I guess, is saying that there were some lies stated regarding the whole Dominion thing. honestly, I'm not sure what to think about that. It seems very fishy that they were forced into. Well, that's something different. Theory number 2 is there's some sort of discrimination lawsuit. This is coming from Ben Shapiro. Some theories that he was putting forth, and theory number 3 is that the network was concerned about the legal liability of Tucker Carlson. His January 6th coverage, of course, where he actually played surveillance footage of people lollygagging into the Capitol, things like that. Who knows? Everyone's speculating. Some people were just saying he was getting too big. He was getting too big, too popular at Fox News, and that could be giving him a run for the money, basically having a bigger following than Fox News itself. I mean, Rupert Murdoch coming down from the top. You don't fire a star like that without, it being approved from him and him being 100% involved in everything. That's definitely going to have to be going to have to happen. He's going to have to be a part of it. Lots of different ideas there, but I mean, one main thing to think about is that he was a truth teller. He was willing to tell the truth. He was willing to say things that other people weren't willing to say. And it's just kind of a coincidence that the person that continued to push the vote on the things that are not allowed to be said in corporate media because of censorship, that he would say some of those things. I didn't watch a lot of them, but when I would see things on occasion, I thought, boy, there's a breath of fresh air. Someone that would actually speak the truth. I don't watch mainstream media. I rarely see Tucker Carlson, but Tucker Carlson, I didn't really actually consider him mainstream media, even though he worked for Fox News, because he said things that that didn't seem to go along with the mainstream media, where I'm like, how is this guy able to be employed by them? Well, so it's not hard to see that he'd get fired eventually, because I think we're getting one step closer to state-run media. Now, fortunately, people kind of understand that corporate media doesn't matter anymore. In fact, Megyn Kelly was on with Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly, and they were all talking about this. It doesn't matter as much anymore, especially for younger generations. It doesn't matter. It's not the big three. It's the China News Network and MSNBC and Fox News. Like, no, it's not just those three crazy networks spitting out a bunch of lies, at least 2 of them. And Fox News kind of joining along, I think. I don't follow them that closely. I don't follow any of them that closely, thankfully. But it's a mess. But people are getting their information in better ways, because they know that the best way to get information is not to get it from mainstream media. And it's kind of like if you live in a country like Canada, for example, where it truly is government sponsored news, then you know not to trust the news. You know that all it is propaganda. And if you're on your journey here in America and understanding that you've come to learn over the past few years that all you're getting is propaganda, then maybe maybe you get that, maybe you don't get that, maybe you'll start to understand that a little bit more. But yeah, your propaganda is what you're getting. That's what you get on mainstream media, is just a bunch of propaganda. And so people that are willing to tell the truth and willing to say things how they are, they do get fired. I don't know the specifics of the things, the accusations of things that they say Tucker Carlson knew and whatever else, but by and large, for major issues that YouTube censors, like COVID and vaccines and January 6th lollygagging into the Capitol and things like that, major things like that, if you speak truth, you cannot work for an organization like that, a mainstream news organization. So we're just seeing one step closer to a government-run militia media, a government-run propaganda. So that's the first thing I was going to say. Now let's talk about how he was completely blindsided by this. He did not see it coming. He didn't see it coming, and I will show you because this is how he ended his last program. Certainly did not end it as one that saw anything coming. All right, here it is.
Tyler Burrell joins us in studio. He will deliver literally anywhere. Tyler, it is so great to meet you in person.
A couple Coco's pies.
So these are from Coco's, established 1978. This is sausage.
That's sausage
and pineapple. And really quick, as a pizza professional, do you look down on this order? Is this?
I do. I think that I consider a criminal.
I knew you did.
Gotta look.
That's it for us for the week. We'll be back. By the way, the entire episode of Let Them Eat Bugs, not quite as good as pizza, streaming now on Fox Nation. Use the promo code ORIGINALS for 30 days free. And we'll be back on Monday. In the meantime, have the best weekend with the ones that you love.
That was the end of Tucker Carlson.
So thank you for the Daily Wire staffers for finding those clips for us. And let's get back. Let's get back over. Our newsroom at Preaching for God's Glory does not run quite as efficiently as the Daily Wire. So thank you for the Daily Wire for getting those clips ready for us. All right. So, you can see that he said, we'll be back Monday. And so, he was expecting to be back to host things on the Monday night program, and he was not back. Now, this next clip is going to be, what is this about? End of his last note. I did that one. Remarks at the Heritage Foundation. I got a chance to see this, and it is an excellent speech that he gave, and it demonstrates. So we're moving on past Tucker Carlson, the news anchor, to Tucker Carlson, the theologian. This is Tucker Carlson, the theologian. And I'm serious about that. This is someone that would speak about truth, speak about the insanity of the world that we're living in. And there's some clips. These are some clips that the Daily Wire put together again. But there are some others that I might play if this isn't getting too long that were very good. If I don't get to play them, I'll tell you about them. So let's just play what they have for us.
So when I started at Heritage, the presumption was, and this is a very Anglo-American assumption, that the debates we're having are kind of rational debates about the way to get to mutually agreed upon outcomes. If you have people who are saying, I have an idea, let's castrate the next generation. Let's sexually mutilate children. I'm sorry, that's not a political debate. What? It has nothing to do with politics. What's the outcome we're desiring here? If you say, well, I think abortion is always bad. Well, I think sometimes it's necessary. That's a debate I'm familiar with. But if you're telling me that abortion is a positive good, what are you saying? Well, you're arguing for child sacrifice, obviously. When people or crowds of people, or the largest crowd of people at all, which is the federal government, the largest human organization in human history, decide that the goal is to destroy things, destruction for its own sake. Hey, let's tear it down. What you're watching is not a political movement, it's evil.
Hey, again, it was Tucker.
Yeah, it is evil. Evil. You know what? Let me find, that's wrong. Let me find this other spot here about people paying the price for telling the truth. So he gave commentary on our current cultural situation. He talked about pronouns and how people put pronouns in their emails as such a ridiculous kind of virtue signaling, just I'll go along with it, and how, just something as simple as, I'm not going to put stupid pronouns in my email to basically give allegiance to the LGBT community. Like, that's just ridiculous. Like, why would I do that? I think that's the dumbest thing. This is just my commentary on it. It's like, well, he, him. It's like, well, call me whatever fits grammatically. So if grammatically it fits to call me a he, then call me a he. If grammatically it fits to call me a him, then call me a him. If there's someone standing beside me and grammatically it fits to say them over there, then say them over there. And if grammatically it makes sense, or just might make sense to say, hey, you over there, say you. I mean, we're getting to a point where people are going to feel like they just have to say you. Hey, you. Because they're afraid to say the right pronoun or the wrong pronoun. It's ridiculous. So, he talked about that. And I appreciate people that will take a stand on that. It's he talked about the fact that people will just, go along with things that they don't believe in the corporate environment because they're so afraid of getting fired, because that's happening left and right. And there are people that want to act like Christians aren't under persecution. Yes, they are. Like big time. This is social persecution. This is lasting persecution. In many ways, I mean, this is lasting persecution when you can't make a livelihood because of the values that you have and you uphold those values. Yes, Christians are and have been under persecution for many, many years. It's called social persecution, and it will turn violent, unfortunately, sooner rather than later. Well, moving on here to some of the things that he said, and this is about people paying a heavy price for telling the truth.
Look around and you see these people, and some of them really paid a heavy price for telling the truth. And they are cast out of their groups, whatever those groups are, but they do it anyway. And I look on at those people with the deepest possible admiration. I am paid to do that. I face no penalty. Someone came up to me like, "You're so brave." Really? I'm a talk show host. It's like I can have any opinion I want. That's my job. That's why they pay me. It's not brave to tell the truth on a cable news show. And if you're not doing that, you're really an idiot. You're really craven. You're lying on television. Why would you do that? You're literally making a living to say what you think, and you can't even do that? Please. But how about if you're a senior vice president at Citibank? I'm serious. At Citibank. And you're making, $4 million a year. And you've got 3 kids in Bedford and 2 are in boarding school and 1 starting at Wesleyan next year. And you need this job, honestly. And your whole sector is kind of collapsing, and you know that. There is no incentive whatsoever for you to tell the truth about anything. You just go into the little re-education meetings and you're like, "Yeah, diversity is our strength. That's exactly right. We need equity in the capital markets." Okay, all right. So if you're the one guy who refuses to say that, you are a hero, in my opinion. And I know some of them. In fact, my job is to interview them. And I sit back and I look at these people and I give them more credit than I do people who display physical courage, which is often impulsive, by the way. And I'm not denigrating physical courage, which I deeply admire. But you interview people who do amazing things, who rush into the proverbial burning building. And every man is kind of trained from birth to fantasize about what he would do when the building catches fire and you hear a baby crying, and so you run inside. No one is trained to stand up in the middle of a DEI meeting at Citibank and say, "This is nonsense." And the people who do that, they have my deepest admiration. And so their example really gives me hope. It thrills me. I talk to them all day long, people like that. That's the first thing.
Yeah, the people that do that have conviction. And that's what is lacking so much in these days is conviction. We've got Christians without conviction, pastors without conviction, conservatives without conviction, people that lack backbone, people that lack principle, people that lack conviction. That's sadly so much of what we're seeing. We need to walk in uprightness. We need to walk with integrity in all areas of our life, which brings us here to the Bible. We've got 2 verses queued up. Proverbs 10:9. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. There might be some more things we find out about Fox News. Some of you might be like, maybe there'll be some things we find out about Tucker Carlson. Well, maybe. But whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. We need to walk in integrity at all times. We need to definitely be doing that as believers. And we need to follow people who have integrity. James 4:17, so whoever knows the right thing to do and fails to do it, for him it is sin. We need to walk upright. We need to walk with a right conscience, and we need to do what is right at all times. That is what we need to be doing as believers. Well, here's what Aaron Coates had to say about the situation. Here's Aaron Coates there. Aaron Coates, her husband, the pastor, James Coates, who Tucker Carlson was nice enough to have her on and look into the situation. And here's what she had to say about this. We heard the news about Tucker and Fox parting ways. Say what you will about Tucker, but I am forever grateful for his willingness to bring me on his show. James and I firmly believe it was the kindness of his team in having me that got the ball rolling to start the negotiations to free him from prison. Time and time again, his team reviewed stories that I sent them highlighting what was happening here. They gave us a voice when our own government-owned media silenced, handcuffed, and lied about us, and is still lying about us. As Bill C-11 sits awaiting approval, it is not getting better for us. It will only get worse. I didn't agree with everything he said, but he was one of the few that stood up for Canada and showed the other side. I don't know what this means for our Oh Canada documentary, but I'll keep you posted. Oh yeah, that's something else. There was a documentary coming out that was going to be highlighting the pastors who've been imprisoned, persecuted in Canada, and they're continuing to get imprisoned. Several are have been jailed for shepherding their flocks. James Coates had, that church was had fences around it, like 3 tiers of fencing, and there's a pastor that was protesting Drag Queen Story Hour and was beaten and assaulted by the people putting this on, and then he was arrested for the crime that they committed to him. That's what we're seeing right now in Nazi Canada. And that's what we're seeing all around us. And there's a pastor in Nazi Canada saying, everything's fine here, everything's fine. And he had a serious problem with the documentary that pastors are involved in telling their story about their arrests and imprisonment. It's sickening. It's sickening that someone would have a problem with pastors sharing about their persecution. Well, this is what someone said in response to her. Let me see, where is it? That was another screenshot. I don't have it. Basically, they asked about Bill C-11 and what it was again. She explained what it was. It's basically trying to limit free speech, to limit what can be said on like on social media and on platforms, as if it's not censored enough. Getting it censored even more so that it can't come into Canada. And then you've got people going around now with the firing of Carlson saying, well, there should be regulation of the media. We shouldn't really have a free press. They shouldn't be able to say just whatever they want to say. They shouldn't have opinion. Free press, that's not a good thing. We should have it fully regulated so that there's absolutely no dissent of the left party. That's basically what's being purported for now. It was AOC actually that was saying that. With Jen Psaki, I believe. So yeah, there's a lot of bad stuff going on, but this is, but as Christians, we need to walk in integrity. And we can trust those that walk in integrity. And Tucker's going to land out okay. He's going to get another network, and he's going to, as many people say, he's going to build up riches and all that with that network. I'm sure he will. Fox News is going to bounce back from this. Tucker Carlson's going to bounce back from this. This isn't something that is going to ruin Tucker Carlson or ruin Fox News or anything like that. But certainly we should be supporting anyone that's telling the truth, and that's what we should be doing. Well, thanks for tuning in. You've been watching Truth Transforms. If you're new here, Truth Transforms. The goal of Truth Transforms is to transform hearts and transform minds through the truth of God's Word. Go ahead and subscribe if you like more content like this and biblical preaching and teaching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Also, as we've been talking about persecution, you'll want to watch this video here next where Pastor James Coates, the one that was imprisoned in Canada, talks about the increased persecution that is to come and how as Christians we need to prepare for it. Go ahead and watch that now.